A very warm welcome to SAP TechEd 2023. My name is Sebastian Schroetel. I'm leading product for BTP in the area of application development, automation and integration. Our topic for today is how to achieve a clean core with extensibility on BTP. And I'm not alone here today. I'm joined by one of our customers, Karthikeyan, who is a Senior Director and Head of Architecture at Schroetel Crystals, to show how Schroetel Crystals keeps their core clean with BTP. Welcome, Karthikeyan.
Hello everyone, thanks Sebastian. It's truly a pleasure to sharing the stage with you today.
Thank you. And before we dive deeper into how you at Schroetel Crystals manage your extensions on BTP, let's first a little bit understand what BTP is all about. So BTP, you could say, it's the operating system for our ERP landscape. It's the operating system for our cloud ERP and all the industry solutions and line of business solutions around it. But it's not only the operating system for our cloud ERP, it's also the platform where our customers can build applications, run process automations or workflows, can build integrations between heterogeneous systems, manage data and do analytics on top of data, and last but not least also use our AI technology embedded in BTP to implement intelligent use cases around our cloud ERP. So with that, without any further ado, back to Karthikeyan to show how Schroetel Crystals is using BTP.
All right, hi everyone. Thank you, Sebastian. It is truly a pleasure to sharing the stage with you today. And let's get right into that. Schroetel Crystals. Who's Schroetel Crystals, right? So this is the vertically integrated farm to table company. What I mean by that, if you really look at under the hood, who we are and what we do, it's basically a sugarcane farming and milling company, or the entity sugar refining, packaging and distribution. If you really look at in the industrial terms, agriculture, manufacturing, either it's a discrete or process industry, and the packaging. So this is what we do and this is who we are. And a little bit about our journey in terms of technological evolution, for the last 2 decades plus. And we have been partnering with SAP over the 2 decades now. And this slide talks about the last decade plus. And for instance, 2010, we moved all our data center over to cloud. In fact, at the time, cloud was just a term. I don't know whether even the term got coined around. In fact, it was later 2012, it was really coined, cloud term. But fast forward, let's focus on 2021 and 2022, which are more relevant to our conversation. 2021, we signed up with Cloud Platform Enterprise Agreement, which offers a lot more services without, we have to spend more time in terms of understanding the hardware, software requirement, licensing requirement and whatnot. This allowed us to develop a software more quickly and more faster way to fulfill some of the business requirements. These capabilities are very much appreciated at that point in time. And 2022, another key milestone or the year that we did quite a bit of work in terms of advancing our technological capabilities. I'll cover more in next few slides. What is the ERP transformation? So basically the journey of our cloud or ERP transformation, we have consolidated multiple systems into a single SAP instances. For example, this slide we have on the left-hand side multiple S4 HANA or the Suite on HANA system. Those were consolidated into S4 HANA as a single instance to bring a more efficiency, less errors, and reducing the complexity and bringing better support. And more importantly, the upgrade in the future, when we need to upgrade the systems, it will be faster and quicker. Again, we have some relevance to this point, upgrade, and hold that point. In a few more minutes, I'll cover that. How did we get there first? So we need a strategy. That strategy basically helped us to find the right North Star and then moving towards in that goal. So as a IT, we have 5 core capability theme or TNETs. I think many people call it in many different ways. The idea here is there are certain qualities we always look for when we deploy technological software or any technology investments within our capabilities realm. One, trusted data, actionable analytics, intelligent automation, effortless collaboration, and intuitive user experience. Needless to say, SAP brings pretty much similar themes called sweet qualities. When they build every softwares around, they put all these qualities. But the goal here is our objectives is very simple. So bring simplicity, which brings efficiency eventually, and then do a lot of adoption, which lead us to transformations. That's our objectives and our vision as well. So the strategy led us to take certain decisions going into consolidated systems into one platform, rather multiple platform, consolidating different technology footprint into simple ones. And this is our high level enterprise architecture overview. This will basically share the whole theme about it. At the center, you have a digital core, which is running on S4 HANA 2020 and running on top of AWS data center and surrounded by business technology platform. I think that is the key part here. And then also you could look at in a different functions and different SAP products are leveraged. And overall, 60 to 70% of our business processes are supported by SAP or SAP associated capabilities. Moving into why do we need strategy? What's the point that we are trying to achieve here? So if you recall, our strategy is simplicity and efficiency and adoption and transformation. So now that we are on S4 HANA, I still believe we have room to improve upon so that we can make our upgrade more seamless and more easier to get more capabilities, right? We are not a software company, and we are primarily farming, process industry and the packaging company. So our focus has to be at the core of the business. So however much we could simplify our S4 HANA core, it is better for us. How do we do that? We have to have a better strategy. How do we make our core closer to clean? I'm not sure we could ever go to clean core, or we could say that it is clean core, but there are one or the other ways things will be there. But my goal is to keeping the core closer to clean so we can really improve our upgrade cycle. We can take a full advantage of the capabilities released by SAP and their thought leadership. So we are largely on-premise technology stack and not a lot of standards when it comes to interface development, and non-compliant around custom code and proper custom code strategy and so forth. Like where we really want to take us from IT standpoint, or in other words, any other function within the company, how do I make it more effective and efficient, right? So native cloud-based application development and deployment, leveraging the SAP's framework, which are CAP and DRAP models. Many of you know the cloud application programming, REST application programming model. Leverage low-code platform. It's another interesting thing that has evolved in the recent past. It's very impressive, and it will basically bring a lot more skill set into the collaboration mode to build technological tool sets to make it effective and efficient on everyday's life, right? And that will truly put us closer to clean, where we are looking at, and scalable and efficiency and agility. So I strongly believe when we have clean core or closer to clean, we have more advantage in terms of bringing in efficiency. So what I mean by that, let's say you get to upgrade your system in a proper cycle, which means you get to take advantage of all the capabilities that SAP brings in within that version. Let's say we have 2020, we want to upgrade to a next version, that would become in an easier way. So moving into the next stage, to give you an idea, what does the landscape transformations look like when it comes to Florida crystals? So today you could see current or past, present or future, the way it goes. I have put together the categories is similar to what SAP recommends: app development, integration, data and analytics, and AI part. Where we were or where we are to some degree: enterprise portal, ABAP programming language, which I call it, we still use it, it's a classic nature where you build baddies and so forth. Integration, we used in the past PI and CPI and whatnot, and today we transformed from PI to integration suite completely on all the integrations. We do have some EDIs, but we are working on it. Similar to that, data and analytics space, BW and HANA and so forth. And in the future, we are thinking about the better tools. So the focus here is the application development, because that's where I want to spend a little bit more time. What do I think, and then how are we looking at, and what are our exploration in terms of achieving the closer to clean core, right? Current versus past, present versus future, and so forth. Today's scenario, the app development situation is we have a significant number of custom code to a larger scale. We have a code compliance issue, I'm sure, because every time there is a new release, there is a better way of building the code base and so forth, right? Heavy maintenance, and there are certain non-SAP apps. In the past, we did not have much of a choice, but with the BTP and their app development tools, we have ability to now analyze and what's the best that we could do. For instance, SAP have extension advisory methodology. Maybe Sebastian can add more color to that, but I follow those methodology to determine what can be moved to where. When I say what can be moved to where, it is more about how do you assess your current situation in terms of custom code and what's the right place to get in there. What I mean by that is, let's say you have a piece of code and that piece of code helps your business capabilities, and that piece of code could be completely done using the build apps, completely native cloud application. You don't have to even touch anything around SAP, just collecting the data. The other one is the side-by-side and in-app extension. So there are many ways that you could possibly develop your custom or move away from your core, keep your core closer to clean, in my view. What it provides in terms of a return on that investment, moving away from custom code in the core, it will give you an ability to better manageable code as well as better manageable core environment, where you could easily upgrade and make your system readily available for the changes that business expects. That's the idea. So this will put us in a different spot. When you make your core closer to clean, your upgrade cycle will be faster or easier, which means you could get to take advantage of SAP's core capabilities and the additional improvements. Especially nowadays, we are in the machine learning and the AI era, and you could get a lot more out of SAP's upgrade and their development. Basically, especially company like us, we don't do a software development like I mentioned. We take advantage of somebody like experts SAP do the development. We take advantages of doing the upgrade properly. This slide, just to give a brief idea what it does and what it means to our environment. So this is like we ran some exercise, a partner called Sierra Digital. They ran some exercise for us, and it is how the data looks like, how many objects that we could potentially transform into cloud native or side-by-side extension type work. And this is like sample data. It's not our production exactly, but it gives you a perception that how many reports that we could potentially have to change or you need to change, total number of DD objects and forms and interface. Basically, they put a rise of category together, and within that rise of this output definitely help us understand our situation, because we have our upgrade coming in a year, that we want to make sure that we reduce our baggages at the core so that we can have a better upgrades and hopefully less downtime and less of hypercare and so forth. This is the final piece that I want to leave it to you guys, to how I think that we as a company started operating, right? We develop a reference architecture. That reference architecture would be shared with our partner ecosystem and our internal employees, and also the people who works around, including the other stakeholders. So what it does to all of us, we all know that what is our target state and what is that we have to follow in terms of get to a target state. So everyone, even from the project management all the way to support team, everybody is aware of our reference architecture, and everybody understands how these things play in a big scale or with a big picture, right? So that's the piece that we always share with our partners and other stakeholders, ensuring that they are aware of it and how this directly relates to company in terms of IT strategic vision and objectives. Now I'm turning over the stage back to Sebastian, who would share the forward-looking guidance on the extension and other cool stuff that we all would be willing to learn and then add it to our tool sets. Back to you, Sebastian.
Thank you, Karthik. It was a real pleasure listening to you and experiencing how Florida Crystals uses BTP. I want a bit zoom out and summarize a bit the extensibility offering on top of BTP. If we look on BTP, we have both low-code as well as code-first or pro-code offerings to build applications and extensions. First, for our business experts who want to build extensions, process automations, or business sites without using code, we have SAP Build. Then, this is the news of this TechEd, we are extending SAP Build also for code-first users. And that we have SAP Build Code, which is our code-first tooling for building extensions in Java and JavaScript against BTP and also a heterogeneous system landscape and our cloud ERPs. And then for our ABAP users, we have also in the cloud on top of BTP our ABAP environment, giving the classical ABAP functionalities. Our integration layer is SAP Integration Suite, allowing to connect the business technology platform and our extensions to multiple systems, not only S4HANA, but also ECC systems, LOB solutions like Ariba, SuccessFactors, and of course also third-party systems. And then last but not least, we have our data sphere, which comprises all our data products for data management and analytics. Let's dive a little bit deeper into the topic of BTP. SAP Build consists of SAP Build apps for building applications and lightweight UIs. We have SAP Build Process Automation. This is our first and foremost offering for workflows, tasks, decisions, and also RPA style automations. Then we have SAP Build Workzone, which is our solution to build business sites like learning sites, supplier portals, and so on and so on. Our new offering, SAP Build Code, the core of it is our SAP Cloud Application Programming Model, in short, CAP. And we have also all the other code-first technologies in it, like UI5, mobile service for building mobile applications with native mobile access, and also Fiori element. And our SAP BTP ABAP environment offers also a simplified programming model, which we call RESTful Application Programming Model, similar to CAP on the Java and JavaScript side, as well as our ABAP Cloud Development Model. So this is very important because these are the three pillars of developing extensions and applications on top of BTP. So how does it look like? This is very important because we have now extended SAP Build, which was last year still only a no-code, low-code tool. We've extended it with a pro-code offering, SAP Build Code. And both of those code-first developers, as well as our business experts who develop without any code, have a unified entry point, which I wanted to show you here. So in any case, all our developers, all our builders would join via a unified entry point we call the lobby. And here they can choose, okay, I want to build visually, or I want to build code first. And I can also here choose to build a full stack application. So this is for us a main breakthrough, that we now create those so-called fusion teams where we bring code-first developers as well as business experts that do not use any code for building automations or apps into one integrated offering. Now, the main purpose of that is, of course, to keep our core clean, which we nicely heard from Karthik before. Keeping the core clean basically means you limit the extensions that you do inside your digital core, inside your S4HANA system. Yes, there's still something like business entity extensions, business logic essential, or API compositions that you would do within the realms of your ABAP system. But then for everything where you build web and mobile apps, for everything where you say, okay, I want to create cross-application processes and automations, I would move on BTP. And I would connect my BTP applications or my BTP extensions to the APIs available in the digital core. We have now a set of extension patterns that we offer. First of all, when we look into what we call on-stack extensibility, you have the possibility to adapt standard S4HANA business objects as UIs, to build your own S4HANA business objects, but also then you might have done field extensibility, you might have also extended a little bit the logic, so you want to build also a custom API to expose to a side-by-side extensibility tool. So this is a main also use case to build those custom APIs that are exposing the functionality to BTP. Something similar frameworks exist on our LOB solutions like in Ariba or SuccessFactors, also publishing now APIs into or towards BTP. And now BTP can do various things with those common set of APIs from S4HANA as well as also from non-S4HANA systems. And the extension patterns we offer to our customers on BTP are you automate processes across backend systems. For that, you use build apps and build process automation. You can build lightweight web and mobile applications with build apps without using code, but then also using mobile services and UI5 and Fiori elements. For developing code first with SAP Build Code, full stack applications, you can use, still SAP Build Apps for a no-code offering, but for really using code first offerings within SAP Build Code with our mobile services, UI5 and Fiori element, and then our cloud application programming model, as well as for the ABAP world, our ABAP cloud and our RESTful application programming model. This is the event for learning about how to use BTP. Please look into other sessions around extensibility. Go to the session catalog and our one-stop shop for connecting with other BTP developers, for asking questions, for reading blog posts, for also getting pointed to our learning offerings. This is our community. So please join our community at community.sap.com. And we have also there topic pages for all our extensibility offerings. With that, I want to make sure that you also take the maximum away for TechEd, because TechEd is also your career booster for your SAP developer or for your SAP consulting career. So please join our application development and automation track. There's also a discount on our learning offerings. This is something that I can only highly recommend. So please go on learning.sap.com/teched to also make full use of the learning offerings even after the event. And with that, I want to say thank you. I want to also say special thank you again to Karthik for deep diving into Florida Crystal's approach for keeping a core clean with BTP extensibility. And if you want to connect to me or to Karthik, feel free to find us also on LinkedIn. With that, thank you very much and enjoy the rest of TechEd.